This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. It's Jacob's birthday. It's Dave Rothenberg's birthday. So happy birthday to all of them. And whoever's celebrating a birthday today, hope you're having a wonderful day. Michael, Don, Peter with you. Don is in Raleigh, North Carolina, where tonight he's going to call the Ranger game. Peter is in sights unknown, but he's here with us. And I'm in the Yes Network studios in Stamford. So I hope everybody's having a great day.
Wow.
A lot of stuff going on. This is one of those days you need more than 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I volunteered for us to do 7. Was shot down.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he's going to bed last night. You're seeing huge Giants news. You're waking up and you're seeing scary Yankee news. There's a lot happening.
Well, we'll start with the scary Yankee news. So, from the best that I could gather, I don't think there's an overt concern about Judge. Now, obviously, that could change. The fact that they put a 6'7", 87-pound guy into an MRI tube. They don't do that for no reason, but they didn't find anything of his significance. He's supposed to be able to play over the weekend. If he doesn't, he has not had that many at-bats. You do wonder about his availability for opening day. But again, the sense that I'm getting is they're not overly concerned with Judge. Now, we move on to Gerrit Cole. I don't think it's good. Now, I don't know how bad it is, but I don't think it's good. So, pitching on opening day is out. They're going to have to come up with another opening day pitcher because he's just behind. And that's if just it's soreness. But,
Sports News.
They both had MRIs yesterday. So, the fact that we know what Aaron Judge's MRI said shows you that they know what Gerrit Cole's MRI said. I mean, that's all there is to it. So, I mean, when you're Gerrit Cole and you get an MRI, the Yankee team physician is available at 4 a.m, so it's not like they're still waiting for the results. They have the results. The fact that they have not told you what the results are is that they are going to other people. They have to be. They're having the highest people in the business, the best doctors in the business, look at this MRI of Gerrit Cole's elbow. So I don't think it's great. I don't know how bad it is. But, there are reports out today that the Yankees have re-engaged with the White Sox about Dylan Cease. I would not think that is the be-all, end-all. As good as Cease is, he does have some warts in his game. He walks a lot of people. He throws hard. He's not Gerrit Cole. And the thing that really makes it hurt for the Yankees, right. Don, Peter, there is no Gerrit Cole to replace Gerrit Cole with.
No, not at all. And you're not really playing games. Like, you could say, well, maybe they're not saying that he needs something significant like Tommy John because they don't want to hurt their negotiations with Snell. It's the same agent. So, believe me, if he ends up needing Tommy John, the world's going to find out about this. It's just a matter of trying, I guess, get all their ducks in a row here for whatever the announcement's going to turn out to be. But we know he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. You're going to need to replace him in the rotation, but to think you're going to go out and get anybody that's going to be comparable to the best pitcher in baseball, forget about it.
It's a huge blow, Don.
You say, well, how significant it is at the end of the day will depend on, A, who they get to at least fill that spot, and who at the back end of the rotation can maybe give you more than you expect. Because after all, it is 30 starts, right?
32.
That's what we're looking at. 32, 30, somewhere in that vicinity. And what's your record going to be in those 32 games? Doesn't mean you're going to go in 32. Didn't mean that when you had Cole, you were going to go 32.
No, they won 15-4.
So what can you do? And how many games is it going to cost you? And other guys are going to have to step up. So it's a blow, but how huge a blow is going to depend on what their next move is going to be if it is the worst-case scenario.
The fact that you can't replace Gerrit Cole tells you it's going to be a huge blow. So, I mean, you've got to, until they make a deal or if they make a deal, and I still think that they're loath to go after Snell because, again, it's 110 cents on the dollar. So if you offer him $30 million, that's $60-something million. I don't think they're going to go there. So then let's look at the next man up that they actually have in their system. Luke Weaver would be number one, but he's had a bad spring. So I don't think that he's number one. You've got Will Warren, who they like. You have Clayton Beater, who's pitched well. You have Luis Heel, who's pitched well. You have Chase Hampton as well. Those would be the guys. And Cody Poteet, somebody they signed during the offseason, which was celebrated by a couple of people who called me from outside the Yankee organization, said the Yankees have really done their homework because Poteet is ready to pop. Because he had Tommy John surgery. He's a good pitcher. But he's not Gerrit Cole. So what I worry about, and, this falls into the lap of Aaron Boone. How does this not demoralize a team? This team is built to win a World Series. They went out and got Juan Soto to win a World Series. And now all of a sudden, you're telling them Gerrit Cole is out for X amount of whatever. Now, you cross your fingers and you're hoping that it's not the entire season. But when you look at Gerrit Cole, he is a picture of a rock. He's a picture of an ace. He doesn't miss starts. In his Yankee career, the 4 years he's pitched for the Yankees, I think he missed 2 starts, and that was because of COVID. And when he had a hamstring injury, he pitched through it. This guy's a rock. He's dependable. That's what makes him great. And you're not going to replace him. So who's starting opening day now? Is it Carlos Rodon? Is it going to be Marcus Stroman? I mean, whoever you start, even if they have a good year, they're not going to be Gerrit Cole. So can the Yankees rebound from this? And you look at the plethora of talent that the Baltimore Orioles have on a team that won 101 games. Now, they've had their injuries too, but they did make some additions. So you've got to ask yourself, the Yankees won 82 games last year. Mm-hmm. The Orioles won 101. Getting Soto and Verdugo and Stroman, did they make up 19 games? Probably not. But if you lose Cole, the ace of your staff, for any significant amount of time, all of a sudden you have to wonder, how much of the 19 games did they make up? So I said this yesterday. If they've lost Cole for the whole season, I'm not saying that's the case, but I think it's not good. I just don't know how bad it is. If they lose Cole for the whole season, they will struggle, no matter what deal they make. And even if they sign Blake Snell, they will struggle to make a wild card spot.
Well, you said his record last year, but what were the Yankees?
I'm not sure of that, but he was 15-4.
Right, so they won at least probably more than 15. They were probably outstanding in the 32 games. So that's how you kind of look at it. But you can also look at it, well, you should get much more out of Nestor Cortez than you got last year. You should get more out of Rodon than you got last year, certainly. Mm-hmm. Both of those guys are healthy. That's going to be more wins just based out of that. Stroman, I think, if he pitches like he did in the first half of the season. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and talk Yankee fans out of feeling panic and a sense of urgency. But I think that you can still find a way to be able to survive this, especially if you go out and get somebody like a Cease, if you go out and you sign Snell. Again, they're not Cole, but ultimately it could still end up being a very good rotation with the addition of a Soto, with a Verdugo. So this team, Michael, even with losing Cole, there's other areas in which they still should be more than an 82-win team. Now, winning the division, very difficult, but I still think they can be a playoff team. And if you get some surprise performances, like we have seen from the Yankees in the past, not last year, but in the past, where the next man up has seemed to work for them, it doesn't mean your season is over.
Well let's look at it rationally. And Peter, I think, brought this up yesterday. They're going to have to slug. I mean, because they're not going to have the same pitching they thought they were going to have, so they're going to have to slug. So you have to look at the team that the Yankees are running out there. They got absolutely no production whatsoever out of left field. It was a black hole. It was terrible. It was a minus WAR of the people they put out there. Aaron Hicks, Oswaldo Cabrera, obviously Joey Gallo, all of that. It was terrible. Now you've got Alex Verdugo, a guy you could pencil in for 35 doubles. He's in the last year of his contract, so he's looking to put up big numbers. So your WAR in left field is going to go up. Is it going to go up 3, 4 from 0? Yeah, maybe. And then Juan Soto. Juan Soto is an addition that you can't even, I don't know if it's possible to quantify. Is he going to have a 5 or 6 WAR? I'm just worried about losing the WAR that Cole gives you. And this is all contingent, guys, on Judge being healthy. Again, I don't think there's a overt concern about him, but anytime you put a 6'7" guy into an MRI tube, there's got to be a reason for it. They say they gave him an abdominal MRI. Now, remember yesterday, Aaron Boone said it's just normal spring training soreness. Well, it wasn't, because normal spring training soreness doesn't put you in an MRI tube. But Judge spoke today. He said it came back clean. I should be good to go this weekend. Now, if that's the case, then he'll be ready to go on the 28th in Houston against the Astros. Now, the big question is, who's going to be the pitcher? Now, other areas that the Yankees have improved in, you're going to have a full season, God willing, of Anthony Rizzo. You're going to have a full season of Jose Trevino. You have to have a better season than you had last year of Giancarlo Stanton. You have to. He hit 191. So all of those things, you put them together, they should be better than an 82-win season. And I think that with Cole starting 32, 33 games like he did last year, I think you could make a run at the Orioles. Now, I don't want to be Debbie Downer. I'm not sure that you can. And again, I know they're going to go out and they're going to try to get a pitcher. We'll see who that pitcher is, but I guarantee you this, they're not getting Gerrit Cole back. Gerrit Cole is not available on the market. That's why he's so special. And this is a guy who's been an absolute horse, never gets hurt, ever. So you got to hope it's not Tommy John surgery. But again, the fact that we haven't heard about it means that they're checking with other people, getting second and third opinions from all the experts in the field, and then we'll find out exactly what it is. Again, I don't know how bad it is, but I'm not saying it's good. It's just not. Got to be honest, it's not. So, I mean, the Mets lose Kodai Senga, and the Yankees lose Gerrit Cole. It's tough to lose pitchers. Pitchers are tough to replace, even third starters, second starters. But an ace, go around baseball and try to find me another Gerrit Cole. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. He's one of a kind. And, I mean, talk about taking the legs out of a team. You have to wonder, in that room, is this team demoralized? Now, they might be, but it's up to Aaron Boone to rally them and say, hey, it can be done. And it can be done. It just became a lot more difficult.
Wait, well, listen, one of you tell me the last time that losing a pitcher at the beginning of the season tanked a New York team's season. I mean,
yeah, but this is like losing Dwight Gooden in his prime.
It happened last year. It was a joke. It's called Edwin Diaz. Last season. It was the whole season wrap.
He made 33 starts last year. The Yankees were 23-10 in his starts.
I actually thought it would be better than that.
So he rattled off a bunch at the end of the season where he won pretty much. They won every game that he started, but it's 23-10. So you might be looking for 23 wins. Now his replacement, whoever it may be, should be able to get at least half of that. So now you got to look at, or am I going to pick up
a lot of pressure on
another
Rodon
10 victories? But but there should be. Because he's supposed to be a very good pitcher that gave you nothing last year. Cortez can bounce back. They should hit, as you outlined, much better than they did last year. So I think, and they will replace him, Michael, I would think. And maybe it's not Snell or Montgomery, but they will replace him with someone. And we'll see if they can rally around him. And Michael, if you're so concerned about the blow, then I guess you have to be in on some of these pitchers just to let your room know, hey, we still are completely engaged. And we're going to try to get the next best thing here. Is that something that they think about? Is Brian Cashman in that kind of a general manager to react to how the room is going to feel, or is it all just about the numbers of how he thinks he can replace these guys, or does he have to think about the mentality of an all or nothing season in which you might only have Juan Soto for 1 year? Can you afford to have that year start with Cole hurt, or possibly Cole not available all season long? Can you afford mentally to have your team have to endure that?
Well, you know what? It's a great question, Don, because deals that a GM makes certainly sends a message to that room. I mean, the GMs that are active at the trade deadline and bring in reinforcements, that buoys the team. So if you just sit back and say, okay, Cody Poteet or Will Warren or Luis Gil is going to slide in, and then everybody's going to slide up a slot, I don't know if that brings the same energy. Well, but the last time that I heard that they connected with the Chicago White Sox about Dylan Cease, the first thing the White Sox GM said was Spencer Jones. I mean, are they that desperate to give up their number one position prospect?
Now, we don't know what we're dealing with here, because if he's only going to miss a handful of starts or maybe even a month, say, arbitrarily, then you just say to the room, listen, guys, we can't throw this season away on a handful of starts that Cole's going to miss. Everybody's going to have to step it up. Because what you can't do, and what Cashman's not going to do, is break the bank to replace Cole and then have Cole come back.
Right.
And then what do you do? I don't think they're going to want to do that. Now, if he's done for the year, then you're going to have to do what you're going to have to do, figure it out. But, Michael, if it's a month, how many starts would that end up being?
It could be 4 or 5
6?
at the most.
For 5, you can't tell your room guys, all right, 5 games without Cole.
Hey,
let's
Don,
go out there and let's get it done.
I think, and this is just from me, that's not from anybody, if they lose him just for a month, they'll have a party. They'll have a celebratory party.
Wow.
If all
You
this
just said
is
a
a
mouthful,
month.
man. You just said a mouthful. That would be you're saying right now you believe that if we find out he's out a month, that would be good
It'd
news?
be unbelievable news. The worst fear is he's out the whole year.
Peter, are you hearing what I like? That's... for
that's
people,
a low bar.
That's not nothing, man. Like, I'm thinking Yankee fans are hoping this is nothing. I think they've obviously, opening day's not going to happen. They're living with that.
Right.
But, Peter, can you imagine this fan base if a month is the best case scenario?
Well, but if it's a month, they should be celebrating. The Yankee front office would celebrate. Your biggest fear is if he's out the whole year. I mean, when they're doing MRIs on elbows, the first thing you think about is Tommy John surgery. So... And, Tommy John surgery means he's out for the year. Now, if he misses a month, big deal. Big deal, as Don said, you absorb a month. It's not a big deal. You absorb it. It's 5 starts. Get over it. And then with the off days in April, you could actually maneuver around that it's maybe 4 starts that he misses. But, if it's more than that, then you really start to panic.
Well, think about it. Like you said, it's 4 or 5 starts. I think it's ridiculous to make assumptions that any pitcher is going to be able to give you every start. Now, Cole has been a rock. But, you kind of know the way pitchers are so fragile that, if we can get 32, 33, we'll be thrilled. But there's probably going to be an occasion where a start's going to be missed or there's going to be an IL stint. And it just happens at the beginning of the season rather than it happening at the end of the season when you need the games and you know that you're out of it or you're trying to hold on. They can survive. If you fancy yourself as a championship team, you should be able to survive.
Absolutely.
Gerrit Cole missing a handful of starts.
And again, that's the way to root because everybody's kind of admitting he's not going to be ready for opening day. So if he's not going to be ready for opening day, you think he's going to be ready for the first homestand? So I mean, just extrapolate out. If they have to shut him down for a while, if they shut him down completely and say, okay, rest it, then that becomes an issue of, well, it takes another 6 weeks to build him up. And I don't even want to go any deeper than that. They also want to make a decision quickly on exactly what's wrong with him. Because if he does, God forbid, need surgery, you got to do it now so he's available next year. If you wait a month or 2 months, then he's going to miss next year.
Well, just look no further than what happened with DeGrom.
Right.
DeGrom was having issues. They couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. You don't want that either. Listen, nobody wants Tommy John. That's the worst case scenario. But you don't want to have to wait. Everything seems fine. Have him come back, gets hurt again, the mystery illness, and then you find out that it's Tommy John, and now you tack on another year to what could have been over much sooner if you had taken care of it right away. Like if whatever it is, find it. All right, find it and correct it. You don't want to have to be searching for this for the next couple of months only to have it rear its ugly head again.
All right, let's go
remember
to the phone.
They caught the break with Tanaka. You wonder too. You braced for Tanaka,
right?
And it never happened. So you hope that it's not going to be the reverse here with Cole.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something with the ligament, if it's a partial tear of the UCL, well, Tanaka never ever had surgery. He was out about a month and a half, and he came back, and that was at the beginning of his run with the Yankees. So, listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to be as honest with you as I can. So, again, I'll repeat, I don't think there's huge concern when it comes to Judge, but there is concern when it comes to Cole. Let's see what you're saying. Let's go to Cesar in Huntington.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
So I want to touch base on, Gerrit Cole is, he's a horse. But, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. Like, what are you guys doing, like, during the off season that Judge is, like, apparently, like, fatigued, like, during spring training? Like, what are we doing? Like, I know we get into the whole medical issue and, like, but what are these guys doing? Like, Cole, I get it. What are we going to do? We're going to throw a Strowman, for opening day? I mean, we're going to need some sort of, like, aggression, some sort of, like, all right, let's rally the troops at the end of the day. And I just hope that, at the end of the day, Aaron Boone is going to try to manage the pitching staff because it's going to be, kind of a crapshoot.
Well, I assure you, Cesar, he's going to manage the pitching staff. His job is to manage what he has. He can't sit there and, woe is me. Now, he's going to have a moment of it. I think everybody involved with the A's is going to have a moment of it, including Brian Cashman. But you got to get over it because, the task at hand is you're not going to give up the season. You're just not.
Right.
But I think that the way you look at the season is a lot different. They're going to have to piece it together. And the fact that it happened right at the start, I guess they have some time to pivot, and there are still people out there. But are you paying 110% tax on one of those people out there? Let's go to Angelo in Island Park. Angelo.
How you doing?
Good.
Hey there.
Yeah, I'm the guy that brought in the picture album at the last party.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm upset. I'm upset with Judge. And Judge, I'll go on my English accent. It's a bit cheeky, don't you think?
How so?
It's a big pain in the arse.
Well, I think Aaron Judge wants to play. So I'm not exactly sure where Angelo is going. Of course he wants to play. From what I've heard today, he took so much extra BP during the offseason. Maybe that has caused this, whatever this is. But the MRI didn't show any. I've never heard of an MRI on an abdominal muscle, but that's what he had. And there's some soreness there. But they don't, again, I'll tell you, what I'm hearing is they don't seem overly concerned about that.
No. But doesn't this feel like something that's just going to be, I don't want to say a chronic issue, but something that's going to come up during the length of his contract. He's north of 30 years old. They've got a huge investment in him. And I think they're not going to take any chances on any tweak, any problem that's going to arise because they've got that huge investment. He's part of the firm now, right? He's going to be here for the next decade. They want to make sure that he lasts as long as possible. So don't you feel like they're going to be treating him a little bit differently than everybody else and be overly precautious every time he feels anything, any fatigue, any issue whatsoever?
I'm sure, but I guess the question is, why does he feel fatigue in spring training? Why is there an issue in spring training? So just after he missed so much time last year, simply because he ran into the wall, that wasn't anything his fault. I'm not saying that this is his fault either, but when you have muscle pulls or injuries like this or fatigue, one of the callers just said, well, what do they do during? I don't know what they do. That's proprietary information. They're not telling me how they work out their guys.
Right.
But they have certainly taken a look at this over and over and over again. I'm sure they've gone over it with a fine-tooth comb about why the injuries are happening. I don't know. I don't have that information for you. Let's go to Norris in Michigan. Norris.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Big fan of the show.
Thanks.
So, about the Cole situation, and I'm sure you guys know about the rumor of them wanting to get back in on Cease. Listen, the Yankees already, whether it comes to trading or getting a pitcher through free agency, the Yankee tax is a real thing. They're going to be charged more by every team, or the agents are going to ask for more money from the Yankees just simply because they're the Yankees, a historic franchise. So when you pair that with the fact that now they're desperate for a pitcher, and we know pitching is a hot commodity in the MLB, and you need it, and especially now that you're the Yankees, the price only goes higher. I mean, now I don't see a world where the White Sox don't ask for Spencer Jones in a Dylan Cease trade. You had the opportunity to get him before any of this happened. Corbin Burns before the Orioles took him. Maybe even a Shane Bieber. None of these guys are on the level of Cole, but I'll tell you one thing. There's sure things when you have a bunch of question marks in your rotation. Rodon and Nestor coming off an injury. Clay Schmidt not really.
But when you say, wait a second, Norris, when you say they had a chance, the White Sox wanted Spencer Jones. You're giving up the number one position prospect in your organization for Dylan Cease. By the way, Dylan Cease walked 77 batters last year. He has a whip of 1.42.
Last year was down here, but he had Cy Young stuff the past.
Well, the previous year he finished second in Cy Young. So, yeah, he's a good pitcher. He's a good pitcher. I'm not sure he's that good of a pitcher that I'm giving up Spencer Jones. Maybe they'll get desperate. Maybe they know something that we don't know. So if they pull the trigger and they give up Spencer Jones, that tells you they know something. But I can't see, when you look at Dylan Cease, he's not Gerrit Cole. And no one is. I mean, you can say, well, Blake Snell is the Cy Young Award winner in the National League. Yeah, another guy doesn't give you innings. Another guy walks a truckload of people, throws an awful lot of pitches. So he's not Gerrit Cole. Again, I will tell you, there's no Gerrit Cole out there. You can't go to Target and go to the Gerrit Cole aisle. There's not.
No. But the question is, can you get another ace?
I don't think so.
Can you get somebody that's better than anybody else in your rotation?
I guess Snell is an ace. Are you willing to pay
that would be the question.
$63 million for Snell? That's the question.
Yeah. Well, the fans would.
Oh, I know they would. I will come back. A lot of stuff to talk about. We have Tino Martinez coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, Greg Anthony with the Knicks playing another game at the Garden against the 76ers. And we're waiting on official word on whether OG Anunoby is actually going to be back in the lineup. I think he's missed 19 games. It's Kay, LaGreca, Rosenberg, and you on Yes and on 98.7 ESPN.